Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the Auburn Conservation Commission, and this is going to be our May 13th, 2020 meeting. Before we begin, I need to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. So members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Carolyn Corriveau.
Here, yes.
Okay. Allison Holmes.
I'm here.
Tom Fallon is
here.
to my right. Nate Rand has indicated he would not be available. And Tony Romney, are you there? Michelle Colross, are you there? All right. So we have an agenda. We have or a quorum rather, for our meeting. So I'm going to proceed.
I think Tony just signed on.
Yeah, I'm in, guys.
All right.
Sorry for the delay. I had some trouble.
No problem, Tony. All right, so good. And then also attending tonight's meeting are Building Commissioner Caleb Moody and DDIS Director Darlene Coyle. So thank you for your attendance. This meeting is being called to order at 5 p.m. This meeting is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the virus, we have been advised and directed by the state to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting on the town's website, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Conservation Commission is convening by remote participation for the public only, although some staff may be physically located in the planning board room in Town Hall. These town employees are practicing social distancing as we are in accordance with the governor's orders. For the public to join the meeting remotely by telephone, call 1-408-650-3123 and enter access code 942-845-549. Or the public can join via computer at gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. The remote access information has been posted on the town's website identifying how the public may join. Also, this meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. Accordingly, those members of the Conservation Commission, employees, and members of the public who participate, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and please take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials have been provided to members of this body and are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Now, with regard to the ground rules for the meeting, I'm going to be starting with the first item on the agenda. So the ground rules to conduct this meeting are as follows. I, as chairman of the commission, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, if any, the chair will then go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in discussion with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. And then after members of the commission have spoken, the chair will afford public comment, if any, as follows. The chair will first ask members of the public who wish to speak to identify their names and addresses only. Once the chair has a list of all public commentators, I will call on each by name and afford 3 minutes for any comments. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. In the unlikely event that there are technical difficulties, I will suspend the meeting while attempts are being made to resolve any problems. And with that, I will turn to the first item on our agenda, is the 5 p.m. public hearing. The applicant is JW Land and Development, LLC. a notice of intent for the construction of a duplex dwelling, driveway, underground water and sewer lines at 1 and 3 Whitman Bailey Drive in Auburn. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
And that's from Tony, correct?
I'll second that.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It's a vote. 1 second,
If I can just,
please.
if anybody makes the motion, if they can just identify their name, it
Abs-
helps with the minutes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So in our motion practice this evening, make sure you identify yourself, okay? Thank you. All right. All right. This item for 1 and 3 Whitman Bailey Drive was continued from our last public hearing on April 22nd. I encourage members of the commission to go and take a look at the property. Mr. Fallon and I actually had an opportunity to go by the site this afternoon. Basically, what the site has had siltation and erosion control measures installed. It is currently an undeveloped lot, although there was activity there today with a backhoe doing some site work. Based on my observation, the siltation and erosion control measures were installed properly. The work that's being done by the applicant is buffer zone work only. So it appears, based on my observation, that the work that's being requested by the applicant meets the plans and the submission to the commission. That's just my observation. I encourage any members of the board to offer their thoughts or comments, and if you do so, please identify yourself by name first and then speak.
This is
Mr. Chairman, Carolyn.
Okay.
Carolyn Corbo.
Okay, Carolyn?
Mr. Chairman, Carolyn Corbo.
Yes. I recognize you, Carolyn.
Yes, hi. I had okay, thank you. I did go by there, took some pictures, which of course I cannot share with you. I did go by there, see the construction. Actually, it was yesterday, and I had been there last week also. My only concern was that as you drive into Whitman Bailey Drive, there was water on the right-hand side, a culvert of some kind, and the construction that was being done on the left-hand side didn't seem to have anything other than correct things going on, and so I do agree with you. But I wondered if that water on the right would have gone under the road and over to where they want to put in 1 and 3, or was that handled?
Oh, I think that was part of the original filing. I actually had an opportunity to take a look at the culvert there as well. My only, I guess, complaint is that there's debris that is accumulated on both sides of Whitman Bailey Road in that culvert and wetland area.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just request the applicant to take some steps to clean it out. But I did not see anything else that appeared to be out of the ordinary.
No, I agree with you then. It just needs a clean up. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments from members of the board?
This is Allison Holmes.
Okay, Allison.
I was wondering if the clearing was already okayed within the 25-foot buffer was this already part of a different order that might have allowed that to happen?
Can you be more specific? The lot that we're talking about is the first lot, as you know, as you enter from Prospect Street.
Yeah.
And so where
It's completely cleared all the way up to the property line, which is well within the 25-foot buffer, no disturbance zone.
Well, my understanding based on the plan is that the work that's being done or requested is actually outside the 25-foot no-build zone.
It looked like it was a little closer than that. And, you know, I don't necessarily think it's a huge issue, but I just didn't like it. When I saw it, it seemed like they maybe cleared a little bit too much in that direction.
what we can do in terms of remediation, we can instruct the applicant to the extent that any ground area was disturbed within the 25-foot no-build zone, we can certainly make a condition that they restore it to its original condition.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, very good. Tony, any comments?
Yep, no. I was just going to add that I was able to go by the site and everything. I was going to agree with you, Mike, earlier.
Okay. Tom, any comments?
No comments, I concur.
Okay. Is there anyone on behalf of JW Land Development?
Yes, it's Justin Stelmach for JW Land and Development.
Hi, Justin. So you heard Allison's concern. So do you know if when the site was being prepared, if work was done within the 25-foot no-build zone?
There was no work that was done in the 25 no-build. The hay bales that are actually shown on the plan that we submitted, those are where the hay bales are actually located on site that you see now.
Right.
All the clearing of that entire parcel was done under our order that's still open for the road crossing.
Gotcha.
In the original subdivision plan, that when we filed all that, probably back in 2014 now, all the clearing limits and everything were approved by all of the boards.
Okay.
So we have not, once we did that initial clearing back in 2014 and 15, we have not cleared any other trees, except for a few on, I think it was lot 11 that we filed a separate NOI for. And that has been closed out, I believe, as well. So in regards to that, there was no additional tree clearing that was done. That was not okay.
Okay, so
With the erosion control
Allison,
limit,
Allison,
the 25-foot line?
Allison, if you have questions for Mr. Stelmach, you have to come through me, please. Do you understand?
Got it.
Okay. So, Allison, do you have a question for Mr. Stelmach?
With the erosion control, was that the 20-foot line that I was looking at? Or was that at the wetland line?
No, it is just outside of the 25-foot buffer.
Okay.
Again, on the plan that we submitted, the hay bales that are located, that was picked up by our engineer when he was out on site taking a look at the lot, finalizing the plan.
My apologies. I looked at that wrong. When I was out there quickly, it looked to me like the wetland line was at the hay bales, but if it might just be wet right now, and if that's the case, then I apologize. I retract my earlier comments.
Okay. So,
Okay.
Justin, after 1 and 3 Women Bailey is constructed, and what certificates of compliance will remain for that project?
We will have to close out 1 and 3. We have 30 and 32 Whitman, which is up at the end.
Right.
Which we're actually we're preparing to do all of the landscaping over the next couple of weeks as long as the weather cooperates.
Okay.
So after that's done and everything is stabilized, we'll have Michael Brad do the as-built, and we'll be coming in to close out that order. And then once we're completed with 1 and 3 at the same time, we would be looking to come in and close out the original road crossing as well.
Okay, so once you do the landscaping for, 32, I think you said, and 34, and then then construct in 1 and 3, the project will be completed?
That's correct, yes. We are hoping that, we have 4 units left to sell. We will be able to have them all ready to be sold by the end of the year. If they actually sell, that's to be determined.
Okay.
But our goal is to have all of our work and everything stabilized by the end of this, basically by the fall, by the end of paving season, by October, November.
Okay, very good. Are there comments from any members of the public for Mr. Stelmach or for the commission? Okay. There being none, is there a motion to close?
This is Carolyn. I make a motion that we close the notice of intent hearing for the construction of the duplex dwelling at 1 and 3 Whitman Bailey Drive.
Very good. Is there a second?
This is Tony, and I second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it's a vote. So, Mr. Stallmark, I anticipate that we will issue the order of conditions this evening, and you will be contacted.
Okay. If I could just ask one more question, I just wanted to make sure that I worked with Caleb and we updated the plan. So the plan that I believe is in front of you now, in front of the commission, is the actual building that we're going to be building. We actually, when I did the last meeting, we had put the largest footprint that we could build on there. We've decided to go ahead and build a different model, which is actually a smaller model and a smaller footprint, so there's less impact to the buffer zone as well.
Very good. Okay, we will make sure that we approve the correct plan.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Yep. I got it.
Okay. The next matter on our agenda for this evening is the 5:10 p.m. public hearing. The applicant is Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions. On behalf of CSX Transportation, its request for determination of applicability for confirmation of the boundaries of wetland resource areas adjacent to the CSX Railroad right-of-way in Auburn as part of the railroad's 5-year vegetation management plan. Is there a motion open?
This is Tom, and so moved.
Is there a second?
This is Thomas.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
This is Carol, and I'll second it.
You're too late. Tony already did. But thank you.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Thanks, Tony.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right, it's a vote.
Aye.
Is anyone on the line on behalf of the applicant, Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions?
Yes, this is Steve Herzog calling from Wood on behalf of the applicant.
Hi, Steve. I think we spoke with you back at our meeting on April 22nd. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
All right.
Okay.
So I think there was discussion. It's obviously it's a densely wooded area. It covers a lot of territory, and I know there was some discussion about trying to, I guess, confirm the wetland areas that are have been delineated on the plan. That was a statement, not a question.
Mr. Chairman, Carolyn Corvo, I have a question for Mr. Herzog.
Please proceed.
I think the comments that we, thank you. Looking for my notes from last April 22nd, our meeting, there was a question about the no spray zones being in Auburn. I don't know if we had resulted with, or we had answered that, or he had answered that. What time of the year they'd spray, and if there were any spray zones in Auburn. That's okay.
Yes, okay.
Mr. Herzog, go ahead.
There are zones. There are zones in Auburn on the railroad that CSX sprays herbicide, and they spray every year in the summer, usually in June. And the maps submitted with the RDA show blue areas and yellow areas. The yellow areas are where spray is prohibited because they're within 10 feet of a wetland or water body, and the blue indicates a 100-foot buffer zone. All remaining areas are able to be sprayed if CSX determines that there is sufficient weed growth to spray herbicide, which they normally do each year. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Carolyn, thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
This is Allison Holmes.
Go ahead, Allison.
Do you mind whoever's controlling the screen to just slide it up a little bit? So we can see the Auburn part. So I tried to go over here to see if I could look at this at all, and I tried to go down a little bit further, but it's not possible. Obviously, it would be trespassing or dangerous areas. I guess my concern is just that these maps are very vague, and the wetlands that you're showing aren't even necessarily the wetlands that you've delineated. And I guess I just was hoping maybe to see something with a little bit more detail. And my preference, and this is just my opinion, but if you're going to be spraying, it seems like there should be a larger buffer zone there in the areas that are close to the wetlands. Just, you know, to only spray once a year versus however you would like to. But that's just my opinion. I don't know, it just seems like we could do a little bit more to protect the wetlands there, since we can't actually visually confirm them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all.
So,
Mr. Chairman, may I make a response?
yeah, please, go ahead.
Certainly, I understand your concerns. These are not maps at a scale that you normally see on a single building lot with a wetland on one side. But I will point out that the scale of the maps and the air photo base are an improvement from the previous RDA 5 years ago, which the Commission approved. These wetlands were identified in the field, and a handheld GPS with sub-meter accuracy was used to portray the yellow no spray zone where the 10-foot offset from the wetland begins. So in some of these maps, you do see MassGIS data layers representing wetlands, either MassGIS, MassDEP, or NWI. Those are rather coarse and are based on air photo interpretations and someone sketching on a map, but not on the ground. So our yellow marks are actually based on the ground field delineations. And also with regard to the offsets, the buffer zone, we are compliant with the regulations, which allows CSX to spray herbicide up to 10 feet from a wetland. And in those blue zones within the buffer zone, same thing, but no more than once per year. So what we're proposing does meet the rights-of-way management regulations and the Wetlands Protection Act regulations.
Mr. Herzog, I do have one question. Do you know, would you have any idea when field measurements were actually taken for the wetland areas that are depicted in the plans that you submitted?
Yes, they were last fall. I don't have the dates, but they were last fall.
Okay, and
September.
who was the consultant, or strike that? Who would you use to delineate the wetlands?
There was an environmental scientist from my firm.
Okay, all right. Would it be possible to get those logs?
I don't know if there are any logs besides what we have for GPS data,
Okay,
because we did not do, the typical delineation with a series of flags and the BVW data forms. We based the demarcation on where there was obvious wetland, because the BVW guidance allows one to use just vegetation if the work is limited to the buffer zone,
right.
or if the transition is obvious because of a slope, which is generally the case because the railroad is elevated above wetland.
Understood.
So I guess what I'm saying is I don't believe the scientists took any other log information besides the GPS data and notes indicating approximately where these markings were.
So I guess what I'm asking is how. So when your wetland specialist goes out there and then transmits the data, transfers the data to the plan, how is that done mechanically? Do you understand my question?
I think so. It's done using the handheld GPS. We collect the data point in the GPS, and that's electronically transmitted to the computer where it's overlain on an air photo.
Okay. All right. That was the question I had. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question, please. This is Allison Holmes.
Go ahead, Allison.
Is this person on foot, or are they sitting on some sort of machine?
They were both. They drive along with a CSX, it's called a track inspector, a person who has pickup truck mounted on wheels that allow it to drive on the rails, and they drive along between areas where there are wetlands. So we have this preliminary desktop information, which is the Mass GIS data, and previous maps, and topographic maps. So we have some idea where to expect wetlands. And then when those wetlands are approached, the person would get off the truck and look for where the wetland starts and measure 10 feet onto the railroad right-of-way to make a mark. So there's a mark on the railroad, on the cross tie, and also collect a data point in the GPS unit. So it is done on foot, in the actual data collection.
Thank you.
All right. Are there any questions from the public? Are there any other questions from members of the commission? There being none, is there a motion to close?
I'll make a motion
I'll make
so
a
that.
motion. This is Carolyn.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
All right, so
Okay. I'll make a motion that we close the request for determination of applicability for the boundaries of the wetland resource adjacent to the Six Railroad right-of-way.
okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
And that was Allison. Okay. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Tony, you fall asleep? We lost Tony. All right. Is there any?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. It's unanimous. It's a vote. All right. Mr. Herzog, thank you for your attendance. We appreciate it. We hope to act on your request for determination at the close of business this evening.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the 520 public hearing, the Webster 5-cent Savings Bank. It's a notice of intent for the proposed addition of 1,270 square feet to an existing building, modifications to existing parking, drainage, and landscaping at 31 and 35 Millbury Street in Auburn. Is there a motion open?
This is Tony. I make a motion open.
Outstanding. Is there a second?
This is Carolyn. I'll second it.
All right. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, it's a vote. Is there anyone here on behalf of the Webster 5-cent Savings Bank?
Yep, Randy Byron from Bowler here on behalf of the applicant.
Hi, Randy. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you folks?
We're doing well under the circumstances, I think.
Good.
So, Mr. Fallon and I had an opportunity to go to the property this afternoon,
Yep.
and as we understand it, you're actually proposing so if you're facing the building, to the left side there is an adjacent small parking lot, correct? And that's the area
correct.
near the wetland.
Correct.
And you're proposing to basically remove that lot. Is that correct?
That's correct. Correct. Yeah. So Webster 5 doesn't need as much parking as what's out there today.
Okay.
So they're proposing to convert that parking area to landscaping.
Understood. And we were curious, when we were looking at the plan, we weren't quite sure where you're actually adding the 1,270 square feet.
Oh, you mean 1,270 square feet to the building?
To the building, that's right.
Yeah. So and it's actually right where the cursor is. It's
Okay.
right at that front right corner of the building. There's
Okay.
a small little vestibule that's being added onto the building.
Okay.
And then the remaining portion of the building is just to remain as is with a bunch of interior modifications that are being proposed.
All right, understood. So you're kind of squaring off that corner, is that right?
Kind of, yeah. Yep.
Okay, all right. Again, we went out there. Obviously you're reducing impervious area, so which we think is a wonderful thing. And I have no other comments or questions. Are there any comments from other members of the commission?
Yes, this is Tony. I have a question.
Yes,
All right, one at a time. So Tony jumped in first, so I'm going to let Tony go first.
Yep. So I was able to check it out earlier today. So the parking lot that you guys are looking to turn into landscaping, if you don't mind me asking, is it just mainly for visual presentation, basically?
It is correct. Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, there's all kinds of like amenities and little areas for like employees to go take like a lunch break or something like that on. They're really looking to like dress up the site and make it look aesthetically very nice.
Okay. Understandable. So would it not only so that parking lot, obviously the concrete would go away, would turn into green. The trees in the back would so that line there. Would you guys dress that up? How would that area there be affected? Right behind that parking lot. So obviously you guys would add to it, add more greenage, right, visually. Are you guys going to affect that, the backside of what's behind the parking lot now, I guess?
I mean, essentially, in back of that parking lot, it really just kind of slopes down to the wetlands.
It does.
So there's no work that's being proposed any closer than where the existing parking lot is located. And we're really just trying to create like kind of like a buffer. They're adding some trees and shrubs and some plantings kind of along the back edge of that parking lot that's being removed. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, absolutely does, yeah. I guess for visually, I guess you'd want to, that's exactly, you answered my question. So the tree, you're adding more shrubs and trees on the back there. Okay, I got it.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Carolyn, did you have any questions?
Yes, I did. I did visit the site, and I did not go on foot because it was all guarded off. It was all taped off. However, could you just please repeat for me where the addition is going to be? I know that the pharmacy, prior existing pharmacy, was on an angle between Bancroft and Millbury Street. Is that where the addition is going?
That is correct. The addition is going right at the basically closest to the intersection. The building, the portion of the building that's closest.
Okay.
Yep.
So it'll go out closer to the intersection then?
Correct, slightly, just by a little bit. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Allison, any questions?
No, I do not have any.
Okay. And is there any member of the public that has any questions for the applicant? There being none, is there a motion to close?
Tom, I make a motion to close this hearing.
Is there a second?
This is Allison, I'll second that.
Second it?
All right. Allison beat you to the punch this time, Carolyn, but thanks for jumping in there. Is there, all right, any discussion?
Okay, go Allison.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
All right. No opposition, it's a vote. All right. Thank you, Randy. We expect that we'll be able to get to the order conditions after our public hearings are over this evening.
Oh, great. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, folks. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is the 5:30 public hearing. The applicant is Matt Hopkinson, a notice of intent for the replacement of Bridge A-17-046 to accommodate a revised lane configuration of two 12-foot lanes in the southbound direction and one 16-foot lane in the northbound direction, located at the I-90 interchange, 10 ramp in Auburn. Is there a motion to open?
Tom, so moved.
Is there a second?
Tony, second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Since it's unanimous, it's a vote. Is there anyone here on behalf of the applicant?
Yes, my name is Paul Smith. I'm with WSP Engineering. I'm here with David Goldstein from the Mass DOT and my associate Samantha Hogan, also from WSP.
All right, outstanding. So, I recall, I think maybe from the first hearing we had, which I think may have been in January, we talked about this project. There was some delay in getting a DEP file number, but aside from that, I think we really would like to have an opportunity to take a look at the wetland areas that are going to be affected or potentially affected by this redevelopment. And I recognize, having traveled that off-ramp, that it's not an easy area to access, but we think we should access it anyway. And the town actually has at its disposal a drone that might enable us to remotely view the wetland area. I don't know if you folks have access to a drone as well, but we thought that was one way for us to really do our due diligence and move this project along for you.
Yes, we do not have a drone.
Okay.
We had a person who actually went out on foot and flagged the wetlands.
Okay.
Samantha, can you add anything else? What we have done recently is presented in Exhibit Plan C, and DEP's request was to add an exhibit showing the riverfront area impact.
Right.
So that's the additions that we bring currently.
Okay, so would there be any way for us to take a sidewalk?
Maybe you want to address that today.
What we can do is we can, as I said to you, we can try to make arrangements to have a drone take footage of the area so that we have a better idea of what it looks like. And I think that's our preference, at least that's my preference.
Okay. For tonight, is there a specific area of concern? Is there a specific issue? Because the area is well developed. It has been in this state for many years, and so we can just point out that at the bottom of this sheet, ramp K is the area where we are realigning a roadway. Other than that, then the project is we're doing a bridge over Route 12,
right?
And we have slight widenings either side.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
This is Carolyn.
Hi, Carolyn.
Was that the area? Hi. Was that the area that you and Tom walked quite a bit? I recall you visiting somewhere and you had to do a lot of walking. Is this the area we're talking about?
No, I've never walked it, and it's not from my point of view, it's not an easy area to access, which is why I suggested perhaps using the town's drone to do an overview.
Okay, that sounds good.
Mike, I'd like to make a comment, Tom.
Yep.
I think that if we went up on Faith Ave, we could probably access a park over where Diamond's new lot is there, and probably go along the thing, especially where that ramp K is coming in. I think we'd be able to get a pretty good actual view of it right there.
All right. Have any of you actually done a site walk of the property or the area where the work is being proposed? Gentlemen?
No.
All right.
No, Mr. Chairman, not me. I just observe it from Southbridge Street.
Okay. All right, my suggestion, Mr. Fallon seems to believe that we can actually observe the property from Faith Avenue, and I'd like to have that opportunity to do that before we take action or we close the public hearing on this. I don't know what your preference is, but that would be my request. We are scheduled to meet on May 27th, and I'm pretty confident that between now and then we can go out there and look at your plan and just confirm the delineation of the wetland and ascertain what impact will occur from the realignment of the road.
This is Allison Holmes. I just have a comment. So is that okay?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
The wetland that is being disturbed where the road is coming in, I mean, it's really just like a drainage swale that, was constructed as part of the road.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, we've driven by it a ton, and I don't know how much more. I mean, I have no problems trying to do a site walk as well, because I think you're right, Tom. Faith Ave is a good idea. That would get us a little bit more sight on it, but in general, it's pretty obvious. Maybe even like better aerial photography or something where we could really see it. Like you said, with the drone, that would be really cool, but I don't know if it's really feasible. So anyway, that's just my comments.
All right. So, Mr. Smith, would you object to continuing this for 2 more weeks so we can take a look? Hello?
Yep. We are up against a, well, first of all, do you have technical questions and specifics that I can enlighten you or discuss with you about the construction? I guess that's the first thing.
No, I think, I mean,
Okay.
my sense is that, look, the plan is what it is. I have no questions really about the scope of work or what you're proposing to do. I think I understand what you intend to do. So that, my concern is really only relating to the wetland impact.
Okay.
Okay?
We are under a deadline at this point, and we're at the risk of losing funding. So, David, do you have any comments in this area?
I mean, I guess my only question would be for this is, instead of a site walk, would photos of the site in question be sufficient for the commission?
You have photos of the site that show the wetland?
I don't recall. I'm wondering if you do, perhaps.
Hopefully they're updated.
Okay.
This is Allison. If I may, while you're looking into that, those are replication areas in the hatching? Is that what we're looking at? Are there replication areas is my question.
Yes.
Okay.
Am I on? Okay. Yes. So we have 3 replication areas. Yeah, that's 1, 2, and 3. Yes.
Okay.
When do you propose starting work on this? Is it next spring?
Yes.
So in theory, yes, it would be next spring. As of right now, again, since the add date for the project was supposed to be on May 9th, I believe. Obviously, that is a bit in flux now, seeing as we have not closed on this project as of yet. It shouldn't, hopefully not be delayed too much. Again, the issue now is a further delay could potentially risk funding for the project, and then, we're were unable to actually do the project at all. So again, I think at this juncture we should try to speed things along as quickly as possible, just due to the fact that, this was first met in January, and, due to some unfortunate circumstances, things have been delayed. But I think anything we can do to speed things along so this project is actually completed would be great.
Well, respectfully, we carried this on our agendas beginning on January 8th, and so I'm not quite sure why we had not heard from you, frankly, before, I guess, tonight. And I understand there was a delay with DEP, and I know they had comments as well. So, gentlemen, if you're suggesting, or if you want us to close the public hearing tonight, I'll poll the members of the commission to see if that's what they want to do.
Okay. Am I on? Okay. I can just, let's see if I can find some photos. I am diligently trying to open some files.
Okay.
I'm currently, sorry.
Go ahead.
Allison, you have any comments?
I'm sorry, this is Allison. I'm looking at Google Maps aerial photography right now, and it's pretty clear. I don't know if that would help. I can't share my screen, so.
No, we can't access it right now anyway. Or maybe we can.
Google Earth, yeah. Let's see. Presentation.
So Allison just needs to share her screen. She should be
Okay.
able to.
Allison, you can if you can share your screen, we can look at the Google map. All right. Well done.
There you go. Very good.
All right. It would have been helpful if we had had these with the original filing.
So this is the drainage ditch down here, right? Maybe you can guide me what we should point out here.
Well,
If we can scroll to the bottom where we're K and J, where the area.
I think Allison needs to do that.
can you,
Allison,
Allison, can you scroll? No.
Oh, like this?
There we go. Yep.
Is that what you
There we
mean?
go. A little bit more.
I don't think
See
A little bit more?
the applicant can't see this, can they?
There you go.
Yes.
Got the whole thing now.
They can?
No, we can. Yes,
Okay.
we
All
can
right.
see that. Yes.
Is that better?
Yep.
It's fine.
That's
We don't
much
happen
better.
we don't happen to know when these images were taken, do we?
It says imagery copyright 2020, but I kind of doubt it's that recent.
Yeah, me too. All right. We get a good sense though of the area.
Allison, would you be able to zoom in on the area in question?
It gets that's better.
There you go. Okay, so where the arrow is right now is two areas that are wetlands that were formed by highway runoff. And yeah, that's one, and there is another one that's directly, yeah, right down there. So those two are the wetlands that are going to get disturbed, and where you have the lighter area there is where we are going to put a replicated wetlands in that area. With the straight roadway, which is parallel to Faith Avenue, is what we call Ramp K, and and that one is going to be curved up. Yes, correctly. Yeah, it's going to be curved upward, and that's where we caused the impact to the wetlands. Okay. Now, if we go to the right, then that shows, there we are. Okay, so we have 3 more drainage outlets. The dark areas are 3 more drainage outlets, and they are similar. They have the wetlands that are formed by the drainage outlets. We are not impacting these permanently. We're going to impact them temporarily when we fix the drainage pipes themselves in the head walls because of safety issues. And in between these is where we're going to put the replicated areas.
Right. Well, you know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I think that's absolutely true in this case.
If I may also, this is Allison. If it was like a wetland that was really, thriving and whatever, but this is really just sort of roadside. So I think any improvements in any wetland replication areas are going to be an improvement.
Understood. Any other comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman, this is Carolyn.
Yes.
This renovation or replacement has been long overdue and has been spoken of in the town from what I have heard. So I'm hoping that we can go along with the procedure with very few complications.
Understood. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. If, are there any comments from the public? All right. If there are no comments from the public, so I'm satisfied based on the Google map and comparing the Google map with the plan that was submitted. I get satisfied that a site walk is not needed. That's just me speaking. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Tom, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, Tom.
All right.
I'll second it, Tom.
All right, and that was Carolyn. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
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 Okay. It being unanimous, it's a vote. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Smith and your colleagues. We appreciate it. We will hopefully get to issue the order of conditions this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
All right, goodbye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right. The next item on our agenda is the 540 public hearing. Ecotech Inc. on behalf of J. Joel Development, a notice of intent for the construction of a single-family dwelling, driveway, underground water and sewer lines at 58 Packagug Street in Auburn. Is there a motion to open?
I make a motion that we open the hearing on behalf of Jay.
All right, and that was Carolyn?
Okay?
That was Carolyn?
Yes.
Okay.
I make a motion we open it.
All right, is there a second?
This is Tony and I second.
All right, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, it's unanimous. Is there anyone on behalf of Ecotech on the line?
Arthur Allen from Ecotech is present.
Hi, Arthur, how are you tonight?
Good, yourself?
Fine, thanks. So, I've actually gone out to the property back prior to the meeting on April 22nd. I don't know if other members of the commission were able to go out there. The project seems very, very straightforward, but I know that I wanted to accord other members of the commission the opportunity to take a look, and if they had any questions, to present those questions to you. So, did anyone else go out there? Yes, please.
I just was wondering if there was an actual site plan that shows the wetlands
There was, we found one and you had it up at the last meeting, but the plan you were putting up just now looks like the architectural plan.
I can look for the one in the last meeting then.
Yeah, there was a well in delineation.
Mr. Chairman, Carolyn?
Yes.
I have it, thank you.
Okay, very good. Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Carolyn?
Please proceed.
It seems as though we didn't revisit this site last year, a while ago, and there is one building there. I believe we walked it. I thought we walked it. There was one building there. There was not one building there. Now there is. And this one would be to the right of that. Is this going to be like a cul-de-sac, or is there another exit?
So
It has its own driveway. This is Art from Ecotech. So the proposed driveway, there's a rough gravel strip just to the southwest of number 56, the original house. And it's going to be out in back of 56 where a barn that used to be on the property has been torn down. The footprint of the barn is actually larger than what's proposed currently for the house. The barn was torn down under the original order of conditions that was approved in 2015. That order lapsed in part because they had to do a 21E cleanup. They discovered a underground oil tank when they were in the process of demolishing the barn. That was properly cleaned up and closed out, but the order of conditions to construct the house expired in 2018. So now I've come back in and refiled to basically get a new order of conditions.
So, Carolyn, the house that's adjacent to this lot is set some distance away from Packagug Street, and so I presume, Mr. Allen, that
Yes, that's that. Yes.
the driveway for the new construction will be somewhat shorter, correct?
Much shorter. Yeah, the house number 60 that was conditioned and built out in back. That's on the far side of the wetlands. So the vegetated wetlands in between the new house and the proposed house. And this one has a short driveway that basically just goes around to the back of number 56.
So will the driveway for 58 actually be adjacent to the driveway for 60?
Yes, it'll be parallel, but like a quarter of the distance.
Understood. Okay. All right. Any other questions from members of the board?
This is Allison. So is the hay bale line there, is that at the 50-foot? What we're seeing on here?
It's actually, it's not in the exact location that this plan shows. It's actually closer to the house than what's shown on the plan. But that was the line that was put in when they took the barn down.
And the wetland was delineated when again?
So we did the original delineation earlier in 2015, and then at the board's request at the last hearing a couple weeks ago, I went and refreshed the, I think, 3 flags that were closest to the proposed house. So essentially 6, 7, and 8 I reset.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Any questions from the public? All right. There being none, is there a motion to close?
Tom, I make a motion we close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
This is Tony, and I second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it being unanimous, it's a vote. All right, Mr. Allen, thank you for your participation. We will hopefully get to the order of conditions this evening.
Excellent. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. And finally, for public hearings, the next public hearing on our agenda is the 5:50 public hearing for Christopher Halliday, a request for determination of applicability for reconstruction of a deck and construction of a shed at 235 Leicester Street. Is there a motion open?
I make a motion to open the request of determination.
It's actually a
for
notice of intent.
35 Leicester Street.
Oh, it is a request of determination. Okay. Thank you. And that was Carolyn. Is there a second?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Okay. And is there a second?
Second.
Tony seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Hi. I have a, Mr. Garland?
Wish,
I have a question. I did go there yesterday, and I spoke with the owner. He had said his mother was going to be here this evening on the line or whatever. I guess she's not, but I spoke to him, and he, I saw the home. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hi.
Is that okay?
Hello?
Hello?
all right. So,
hi.
Carolyn, well,
I guess she is there.
all right. All right.
Yes.
I need you to stop. All right. We were voting on whether to open the public hearing, and I think you just jumped in, Carolyn, so that's fine. Okay. So,
Sorry.
it's okay. Not a problem. I know you're very eager, and I appreciate that. So, is anyone on behalf of the applicant available? For Mr. Halliday, is there someone here on behalf of Mr. Halliday?
Yes.
Oh, you there?
Yes.
Terrific. And who's that with you? Is that your mother?
My mother, she's not real good with the computer, so I set it up for her.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, can you identify yourself, please, by your name and address, ma'am?
Yes. Yes, I'm Pompeia Halliday at 235 Leicester Street.
Okay.
Property owned.
Very good. So, as Ms. Corvo indicated, she went out to the property yesterday, and Mr. Fallon and I had the opportunity to go there this afternoon. So, this is, again, based on my observation. The work that you are requesting, both the construction of the shed and reconstruction of the deck, both fall outside the 100-foot buffer area that gives us jurisdiction. So it appears the work you're doing does not require the commission to issue an order of conditions. That's just my observation. If anyone wishes to chime in, please do so. Carolyn?
No, Mr. Garland, this is Carolyn, yes. I did go there, and I think, I assume that I spoke to Christopher. I saw no problems with it, whatever. He's putting in a long rectangular deck on the back, and I was several feet away from the site where he was going to put up the shed, and it was well away from any waterway. That's my opinion.
Understood. Okay. Tony, did you have a chance to go out there?
No, this was the one that I was unable to make it to. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Allison, any comments?
No comments.
Okay, all right. If there are no, is there anyone from the public that wishes to comment? There being no public comment, is there a motion to close?
Tom, I make a motion we close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
This is Carolyn, I second it.
All right, is there any discussion?
This is Carolyn, I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Hi.
Aye.
Okay. There being no objection, the motion is voted. Thank you, Mr. Halliday. Thank you, Mrs. Halliday. We appreciate it, and we will hopefully get to writing our decision this evening.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, commissioners, that concludes our public hearings. We actually closed everything that we heard tonight, so we have some orders to issue. So, we can take them in order if you would like. What is your preference?
Mr. Chairman, what are our choices?
Well, I mean, we can just go down the line. We can start with the first application at 5 o'clock and just work our way down the list.
Sounds good?
All right.
Let's do it.
That sounds fine to,
All right.
to me, I don't know.
All right, so the first item was 1 and 3 Women Bailey Drive. So we closed the public hearing. It's a notice of intent. So does anyone have a motion?
Tom, I'd like to make a motion that we issue a standard order of conditions and special conditions number 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 11, and 13.
Okay. Is there a second?
This is Allison, I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All those in favor,
Aye.
say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
It being unanimous, it's voted. Okay. The second item on the agenda is the request for determination of applicability for Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions, Inc. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we issue a negative determination on the
Okay.
request for determination of applicability
All right. Is there a second?
of the
Tom.
Essex Railroad.
Tom, I'll make a second. I just want to state that because it's a utility, they kind of fall under a little bit of a different set of rules. They came in front of the board today, but I would concur with Carolyn in issuing a negative determination.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
It's unanimous. It's a vote. The next item on the agenda is the Webster 5-cent Savings Bank notice of intent for the addition of to an existing building at 31 and 35 Millbury Street in Auburn. Is there a motion?
Tom, I'll make a motion that we issue. Oh.
Good job.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
That's okay. I make a motion that we issue a negative determination of the Webster 5-cent Savings Bank for notice of intent
No.
of the proposed
No.
1270 square foot addition to the building. I'm sorry,
No, you can't.
3135 Millbury Street.
No, you can't do that.
I can't.
No, because okay. No, it's all right. If you look at the agenda, there was a notice of intent, not a request of determination of applicability. So they acknowledge there are wetlands. So what we need to do is to issue an order of conditions, Carolyn.
Oh,
So it's all right. No
that's right.
problem.
I'm sorry.
So shall we have Tom do it?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept,
Sure.
Okay.
that we issue a standard order plus special conditions number 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 11, and 13.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Oh, Tom, good job, Tom. I'll second that, Carolyn.
Okay. Is there any discussion? There being none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, it's unanimous, it's a vote. The next item is the notice of intent to replace Bridge A-17-046. Is there a motion?
Tom, I make a motion we issue a standard order plus special conditions numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, numbers 5 and number 6 because there's replication and there's just a regular work areas as well.
Right.
Number 8, no number 9, we don't need it. 8, 11, 12, and 13.
Okay. Is there a second?
Good job, Tom.
You're gonna give him a big head, Carolyn.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, it's unanimous, it's a vote. Okay, the next item was the 540 public hearing, Equitech, on behalf of J. Jill Development for 58 Packard Truck Street in Auburn. Is there a motion?
Tom,
Oh, you don't want to do this?
I think Tom wants to do it.
Tom, I make a motion, we issue a standard order plus special conditions number
Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 11, and 13.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that, Tom. Nice work.
Okay. Like I said, don't give him a big head. So Carolyn, were you seconding that motion?
I think it was Tony.
All right, we're gonna give it to Tony this time. Tony, we're gonna give it to Tony this time. Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Tony?
Yep, I second it.
Okay. Do you approve them? All right, very good. So it's unanimous, it's a vote. And then last but not least, the request for determination of applicability for the deck and shed construction at 235 Leicester Street. Is there a motion?
This is Allison. I will make a motion that we issue a negative determination of applicability for the deck and shed at 235 Leicester Street.
Okay, is there a second? I'm sorry, what?
I'll second that, Allison.
All right, that was Carolyn, she seconded. Is there any discussion?
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, it's unanimous, it's a vote.
Aye.
It's even more unanimous now. Okay, we do have some other business. I'm looking at the items that, first of all, there was a complaint about a PVC pipe coming from 341 Leicester Street. So I would suggest we carry that over to May 27 so we can take a look.
I tried to go over there. It was, it just didn't seem like, I didn't want to trespass, so I didn't see it other than from my car.
Okay,
But,
so you didn't knock on
does
anyone's...
anyone live? No.
Okay.
Is anyone living at 341 Leicester Street?
I have no idea.
Right.
Okay, well that's fine.
I did not get there. No.
So we should go out there and take a look. The next was, I guess, Bill and Barbara Elo were looking for guidance on how to save trees from erosion at the shoreline. And frankly, I have no idea what they can do about that. I'm sorry? Tony, Jeff, I'm sorry, I thought someone had a comment.
I was commenting about the pipe.
Oh, so
Last one.
did you see the pipe?
It was before. No, I didn't, but I was questioning if you actually already visited that site
No.
about a month ago.
Nope.
Or before COVID.
Nope. We were supposed to, and then
But
COVID. No, I didn't have a chance to do it, so I think we should take a look.
Okay.
And then I also noticed that there was a complaint from a Deborah nurse at 17 Goddard Drive. She's complaining about runoff into her backyard. I'm not quite sure what is causing that, but it might be worth a look. So perhaps we can go to 17 Goddard Drive and practice social distancing and take a look and see what the problem is, to determine what the cause is. And, I'm sorry, what question?
I think as long as we have masks on and we stay away from each other, we can do these visits together. It would be helpful.
I think it would, you're right. Okay.
I concur.
All right, well, perhaps this weekend,
Carolyn, what was our last comment on the 278, 280 Bryn Mawr, the Ellis?
well, what I said is that,
Take a look at that, you said?
I think we should take a look. I don't frankly know what kind of guidance we can provide, but we can take a look.
Yeah, right.
So I think that's fine. I think it's a valid concern, clearly. And then, so I think we should try to take a look at 341 Leicester Street, go to Bryn Mawr, 278 to 280, and take a look at the trees on the shoreline, and then go to 17 Goddard Drive. And then we apparently have received, from the Registry of Deeds some guidance that they will now accept certain documents that don't require notarization that have been electronically signed by a municipal board or commission. And there's a memo, and I think you all received copies of it. And that actually kind of dovetails nicely with my next issue, which is there were orders that were issued after the April 22nd meeting, and I don't know that the orders have been fully executed by members of the board. I think we had if my memory serves, we had a full quorum at the last meeting. And so if you haven't had a chance to go to the town manager's office, please do so and sign those orders. We have to get them out. And Caleb, I don't know if you can offer guidance on this, but if there's a way that we could electronically sign documents, it might facilitate orders being processed.
Yeah, I think if you can provide us with, if somebody takes a picture of their photograph or whatever and provides it to us, we can copy and paste it into the documents. So
Okay.
as long as we can get your signature, and then we need.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, okay.
We would just need the board to take a vote to accept that.
All right, so just so I'm clear on this, you mean if we use an iPhone or an Android phone?
I think if you just sign a document, take a picture, and send us that photo.
So just sign, put a signature on a blank piece of paper?
Yep.
Okay. How do members feel about that?
What do we need to do exactly? Could you go over that, please?
All right, so what Mr. Moody is saying is that if you can sign a blank piece of paper, take an image of it with your smartphone, and then send it to Mr. Moody, he can then transpose that signature to orders. So it would save you a trip to the town manager's office. It would just it would facilitate the signing of these orders and make it more efficient.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just to repeat, correct me if I'm wrong, we just take a sheet of paper, sign it, take a picture of it, and forward it to
Mr. Moody.
the town manager?
No, Mr. Moody
Mr.
is,
Moody, sorry, okay.
he is our building commissioner.
Of course, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
So if you're willing to do that, like I said, we can just he can then take those signatures and transpose them to orders so that you don't have to come in and sign them in person.
Okay.
Okay. How do people feel about that? Does that seem?
I'm fine with that. Mr. Chairman, I'm fine with that. We just need to do it once. Is that correct?
That's all you have to do is once. That's right. With the understanding that your signature is not being
I'm fine with that.
is not going to be used willy-nilly, but only for Conservation Commission business.
Okay, and his email is on the site. Okay, thank you.
Sure. Allison, is that agreeable to you?
Absolutely. Is there an option to digitally sign it in a PDF like I would typically do, where the PDF would authorize it as signed, or does that make it more complicated for you, Caleb?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't think we have that option here.
I can talk to IT about it. It's just, I think we need to do it one way for the entire board and not.
Yeah, I would agree.
The photo may be the easiest option for other members of the board.
Okay. I think Caleb's right.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay. Tony, you go with this?
Yeah, that's fine. I was going to make sure to go down there tomorrow, but I'll do either way. It doesn't matter. I'll take a picture.
Or
Okay.
the existing ones, if you can.
If you can
sign
come
it.
and sign the existing ones.
If you would come in and sign the existing orders, because there are 2 orders at the town manager's office. If you could do that, or plan to do that, Tony, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll go tomorrow.
Okay.
There are two.
And Allison and Carolyn, if you could also do that, that would be helpful too. Okay, so going forward for the orders that we've approved tonight, sign your name on a piece of paper, send it to Caleb, and then that way it can be transposed to the orders, and then we'll save everyone a trip. And I will also get in touch with Nathan and also with Michelle about that. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Through the chair, I think we just need to
Thank you.
take an official vote to accept the Mass General Law, Chapter 110G, I think it is. It should be in your memo.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. All right.
The board has to actually take a vote to.
All right. So, is there a motion to permit electronic signatures in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 110G, Section 7 and 9?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second that. I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
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 Okay, it's unanimous. All right, it's a vote. Thank you, everyone. Is there any new business?
Welcome.
Is there any new business? All right. Our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, May 27th at 7 p.m. If there's no new business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Tom, I make a motion we adjourn this meeting.
Is there a second?
This is Tony, and I second.
I'll second that. Caroline. Okay. Whatever.
Hilarious. All right, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, it's unanimous. Thank you, everyone. I know we're still getting used to these remote meetings, but I do appreciate your participation, and be safe. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and we will see you on May 27th.
Great.
All right, good night.
Hey, Allison, thanks for sending the
Hey,
email.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Great job.
Oh, you're welcome.
Great job.
Bye.
Thank you.